Good evening. You're watching the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq issues a royal decree. The Ministry of Health reports 41 deaths of coronavirus and the number of inpatients at hospitals reaches a high record. And public establishments for industrial estates Madain signs an agreement to transfer the ownership and gas distribution network's operations to OQ Gas Network. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq issued a royal decree number 46/2021. Article 1 appoints Ibrahim bin Ahmed bin Mohammed Al-Mu'aini Sultanate's ambassador to the Islamic Republic of Iran and extraordinary plenipotentiary non-resident ambassador to the Republic of Tajikistan. Article 2 appoints Ali bin Sulaiman bin Saeed al-Darmaki Sultanate's ambassador to the Republic of Sudan and extraordinary plenipotentiary non-resident ambassador to the Republic of South Sudan. Article 3. This decree shall be published in the official gazette and comes into effect from the date of its issue. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq sent a cable of greetings to His Highness Grand Duke Henry of the Grand Duchy of Luxembourg on the occasion of his country's National Day. His Highness Sayyid Thayazan bin Haitham Al Saeed, Minister of Culture, Sports and Youth, issued a decision to form the main supervising committee on organizing marathon of the governorates, which will start in various governorates of the Sultanate for the first time. The issue of the petition comes within the attention of His Highness Sayyid Thayazan bin Haitham to encourage society to practice sports to be a part of healthy lifestyle in which participants promote sportsmanship and inspire people to become active. Professional and amateur sportsmen get together in a national social race. The ministry implements this marathon in cooperation with the Oman Athletic Association. The marathon, through its activities, will focus on social partnership values to build public awareness on this type of sports and create opportunities for participants and entrepreneurs. The marathon also will focus on enabling sports and athletes in addition to expanding the scope of practicing the sport and races in general. The Marathon of the Governorates seeks to make sports mobility, attract athletes and fans in every governorate and benefit from the media momentum of these races in order to involve all the public and private establishments. The Ministry of Health reports 41 deaths and 2,037 new cases of COVID-19 in the Sultanate. It also registered 1,079 recovered cases. The total number of COVID-19 cases in the Sultanate reached 252,609. The total recovered cases reached 221,250 cases. The total number of deaths reached 2,782. The ministry indicated that the number of inpatients during the last 24 hours is 209, bringing the total number to 1,517, while 443 are in intensive care units. The governorate of North Batna recorded an increase in the number of COVID-19 cases, which added pressure on the accommodation capacity of the hospitals and intensive care units. In Sohar Referral Hospital, the medical cadres are exerting more efforts to deal with the COVID-19 patients transferred from other health institutions. It is worth mentioning that adhering to the precautionary measures and taking the COVID-19 vaccine is a necessity to contribute in protecting the community from further spread of the virus. In Brahmi Hospital, the accommodation capacity was increased to receive more COVID-19 patients. The occupation percentage of beds in the hospital reached 129% and the intensive care unit was around 187%. Meanwhile, the national immunization campaign against COVID-19 continues in the governorate of Brahmi Sports Complex amid huge turnout from the targeted categories, which in return stresses on the public awareness of the safety of the vaccine. The COVID-19 vaccination campaign continues in the governorates of Dhahira, which targets the age category from 45 years and above. 10 vaccination centers were prepared in the governorate for citizens and residents to take the vaccine. The vaccination process was well organized by the bodies concerned as the members of the community were inoculated. The bodies concerned ensured the safety of the vaccine and encouraged the targeted categories to take the vaccine as soon as possible to contribute in limiting the spread of the coronavirus. The Public Establishment for Industrial Estates, Madain, signed an agreement to transfer the ownership and gas distribution network operations to OQ Gas Network in order to strengthen natural gas transportation and distribution. The agreement comes in line with Oman Vision 2040 to join national efforts and local assets in enhancing the effectiveness of services sector and optimal savings in expenses in the Sultanate. The agreement will be covering 5 industrial estates in Sur, Sohar, Rosail, Nizwa and Raisoud, and these estates render their services to 98 companies. Oman Oil August 2021 delivery price reached $72.86 per barrel today, recording an increase by 95 cents. The average price of Oman crude oil June delivery reached $63.10 per barrel, which is lower by $1.33 compared to May 2021 delivery price. Small and Medium Enterprises Development Authority signed an agreement to manage a loan portfolio in order to support owners of small and medium enterprises and craftsmen and enhance their role in pushing national economy will. Details of the financing programs and the deadline for receiving applications will be announced in the coming period through Small and Medium Enterprises Development Authority and Oman Development Bank. General Diploma students in Al Dakhliya Governorate commenced their final examinations amid COVID-19 preventive measures. More details in the following report.
Amid COVID-19 preventive measures, the final exams of the General Education Diploma for the current academic year began in 360 centers distributed over the educational directorates in the various governorates of the Sultanate. In Al Dakhliya Governorate, 7,315 General Diploma students commenced their final examinations.
There are many steps we're taking. First, the center was already ready to welcome the students in this exam center. So the students would reach the exam center, then he would get his temperature check, then he would reach the exam hall. Once he reached the exam hall, he would sit in the table assigned on the list to his name, and there are 15 students in each exam hall. So they have their social distance, okay? And what's good is that all students were vaccinated before, and we wish them all the best.
Implementing the health protocol and providing the appropriate and safe atmosphere for the General Education Diploma students enabled them to do their exams in a comfortable manner.
Actually, those 3 measures make us feel so confident and trust about the exams. Right, it's the nervous issues, it's normal actually, but at the same time, they are not making us feel extra, it's actually normal. We kind of feel easy to get our exams, it's more health, of course, more safety for us. We feel more secure about the life here and the way that we studied already and the way that we get exams right now.
Ongoing efforts are being exerted across all examination centers to make sure that exams are conducted smoothly and in accordance with the preventive regulations. With convenient procedures and required precautionary measures at the examination centers, the general diploma students begin the first step towards their higher education journey. From the Wilaya of Manah, Saleh Bakhalfan al-Rahbi, الداخلية, Governorate.
Still to come in our news bulletin. World's top three wingsuit flyers performed their act high above in Lebanon. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. And now for the international world, Gaza today resumed agricultural exports across the Karam Shalom checkpoint into Israel after they were suspended almost 6 weeks ago amid the war between Israeli forces and Hamas. Truckloads of vegetables were driven through the crossing following an Israeli government decision to allow a limited range of exports to restart. The development came as Israel eased some restrictions on the Gaza Strip that have threatened the fragile ceasefire that ended last month's clashes. The truce came under new pressure last week when Hamas-linked activists launched incendiary balloons across the border, burning farmland and triggering Israeli airstrikes. The war started when the Hamas fired salvos of rockets towards Jerusalem and other Israeli towns last month. Hamas said the attacks were a response to the Israeli police raids and heavy-handed policy against Muslim worshippers at Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque and planned evictions of Palestinian families from an Arab neighborhood. Britain launched negotiations today to join a trans-Pacific trade bloc as it looks to explore new opportunities in Asia following its departure from the European Union. The start of talks to the Comprehensive and Progressive Agreement for Trans-Pacific Partnership (CPTPP) came as Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab visited Vietnam as part of the regional tour. Raab described Britain's prospective membership as a high-quality win-win multilateral trade deal. Joining the bloc would give the UK new access to fast-growing economies across Asia-Pacific and the Americas, including Mexico, Malaysia and Vietnam. Other countries in the pact include Australia, New Zealand and Canada, but Britain would be the first European country if it succeeds in joining. Following Vietnam, Raab was scheduled to visit Cambodia and then end his trip to the region in Singapore. The Great Barrier Reef, an awe-inspiring natural habitat that is home to an array of sea life. The network of 2,500 reefs covering 348,000 square kilometers of Australia's northeast coast has been World Heritage listed since 1981. But its health is under increasing threat from climate change and rising ocean temperatures. Now, a draft report from the UN World Heritage Committee is recommending that the ecosystem be added to UNESCO's list of World Heritage in danger. The report released yesterday said that there is no possible doubt that the network of colorful corals of Australia's northeast coast was facing a certain danger. The report found that the site had suffered significantly from coral bleaching events caused by unusual warm ocean temperatures in 2016, 2017 and last year. UNESCO's list of World Heritage in Danger covers 53 sites. The Tokyo 2020 Organizing Committee unveiled 2 posters selected for the Olympics and Paralympics today, a day before Japan marks a month of Go Until the Olympic. 2 posters were selected by the International Olympic Committee and the International Paralympic Committee from 20 posters created by the internationally well-known Japanese and overseas artists. Poster for the Olympic harmonized checkered emblem study for Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games was created by the Japanese graphic designer Tokoro Asao, while the Paralympic poster Paralympian was designed by a group called Go Chokipar. 3 of the world's top wingsuit flyers have performed the first ever fly over Lebanon's highest peak and 2 of the country's UNESCO World Heritage sites. Here's a report.
Fred Fugen, Vincent Cott and Aurélien Chadet of France went to Lebanon to try something that had never been done before, jumping from a helicopter above Lebanon's highest peak and enjoying the stunning landscapes of Lebanon from the vantage of a wingsuit flyer. Guided by 2 teams, one on the ground and another in the air, the wingsuit flyers hovered in a helicopter over the Mount Lebanon mountain range, including the highest mountain, the Black Peak, at 3,088 meters, before jumping out and soaring through the Kadisha Valley and over the forest of the Cedars of God. The team's low altitude over the mountains made it a very technical jump, and the group often passed close to the ground as they headed down into the valleys.
It is cool to say that we are the first people to be able to fly over a land and in a country in general.
After completing the flight, Fugen said to be able to start a jump that high in the mountains and above the cedars and then ending up deep down the canyon was a magnificent experience. Besides, it was full of colors, full of sceneries that blend together, which all make for the beauty of that place.
This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. His Majesty Sultan Haitham bin Tariq issues a royal decree. The Ministry of Health reports 41 deaths of coronavirus and the number of inpatients at hospital reaches a record high. And public establishments for industrial estates, Madain signs an agreement to transfer the ownership and gas distribution network's operations to OQ Gas Network. With that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here at the studios and the newsroom, it's good night and stay safe.